Here we are again at AI Summit London. I'm Ben Wodecki, and I'm joined by Anuj Agarwal, a data engineer from NatWest. How's it going?
All great. So I'm enjoying the sessions here and the products which are coming. So it's an interesting thing. It's actually help you to learn and gives a view on what's coming in the future. So yeah, it's always love to.
Well,
This is my second time.
awesome. So we're glad that you're here because we want to talk around something that's really quite interesting, and that's two hypes in technology in the last 12 months. That's AI, and that's the fintech crypto space, blockchain, that kind of thing. So the past 12 months AI has knocked blockchain off, right? Well, that's my take.
I completely agree.
What's your take though? Are you surprised by this, and do you think this has been a long time coming because of AI's general historic usage? What do you think?
Oh yes, so I completely agree. What OpenAI has done, so it has taken like, okay, everything by storm. Okay, no one has actually thought through this will happen. What happened in the last 6 months? I know people working on the projects and solution for the last 3 years, and what OpenAI is able to do it now. So it's actually a game changer, and that will impact how we operate in the world in future. So it's not something these kind of things happens on a regular basis, or I can call it, people will look back and say, okay, 2023, obviously 21 has its own COVID and milestone markers, but 23 will always be remembered as which has changed the landscape. On the other side, you talked about Web3, crypto, and other thing. So that's something like, look into how these two are different. Crypto is evolved as part of the problem solving. It's not coming out of the academia where a lot of funds are invested into it. These are not coming out of it. How Bitcoin started is because what happened in 2007, few people decided, okay, I want to take control of it. And that's where maybe over the beer, they start building a protocol which was called as Bitcoin. And it's more of a people movement. And there are challenges with how the regulation will fall in, how it will operate, and there is always, with interest rates going in, liquidity going away, you don't have free money to maybe go into the risky assets. So one is the area which is, I would say, investment. Another area which is the usage. So if I look into back, institutional usage of DeFi and crypto has increased, at least means 5 years back. So I started into crypto 2013 or 2011. So from there I've seen the journey of Bitcoin, and 5 years back if you talk, it was considered as a casino banking. Now people at least say this is an option, this is an asset class. So that's the change. But yeah, if something shiny comes in, if you are driving maybe a Tesla and Lamborghini comes in, you start looking at it.
Of course.
So that's what OpenAI does.
That's the trouble with tech, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all like shiny things.
True, yeah. We go by the trends, and that's why with a lot of time I tell my teams.
Anuj, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead, good.
I wanted to ask you because it's interesting. There are a few companies and a few brands that are looking at combining both blockchain, AI, and there's a couple I've even seen with Web3. What examples have you seen in terms of combining the two areas? Anything at all?
So, if be very honest, I see there is a lot of scope for now crypto industry to streamline and come up with a standard definition of thing. And why I'm saying is, I'm on the panel of these discussion lately, and and previously I've run my own startup in a DeFi space. So I know the nuts and bolts of it, and now being part of the High Street Bank, I understand the challenges. If you I just ask you a question, we call about DeFi, which is decentralized finance. How many of the products which are there are actually decentralized? You're running on a decentralized platform, but still those governed by one company or few people. So that's where things means, and I have not seen a very viable case where both, means theoretically yes, there are a lot of options which you can work on, but I have not seen any viable product where both AI and blockchain working in tandem to drive a value. Yeah, you do something, you will get something, and both are creating an hype, so you multiply it hype by hype. That's a different strategy.
And jumping on that hype, one thing that's been apparent is people who were in the crypto space who weren't probably in it as long as you were, but joined the hype train, then joined the hype train and got for AI and got a bit of backlash. I've seen quite a fair amounts on Twitter and other platforms. What's your take on this? Have you seen kind of people jumping on board that are just jumping on board for sake, and how are you kind of reacting to that as someone who's seen that in the crypto space?
Yeah, so obviously there are people who will go from one train to another. And now, maybe 5 years back, we used to say those trend life cycle is around 18 months, and now looking into it's like 6 to 7 months. So there will be always the people who jump from one train to another, but you need to go in depth onto it and stick to it. So there are a lot of products, both on the AI space and on the Web3, which are coming up. But like as in any startup, it takes 5 to 6 years to build up, I would say, meaningful solution. OpenAI, it took like 5 years to build us. You can't just say, okay, fine, OpenAI, like I set up a company or I set up a model and 6 months I will start generating it. That's not going to happen. Real things takes time to build. And that's my only advice is don't go from it. And if you look into the world, except the hype, most of the world is driven by the boring stuff. So 99% or 95% of the stuff, if you see, to operate is boring, but that working day in, day out, million times, same, that makes your life easier. So
you said something really interesting there, because it aligns with what Sam Altman said recently, and I know you wrote about this as well, about the kind of the idea of Indian startups coming in and trying to challenge OpenAI, right? That's a really kind of stark thing to say. I wanted to get your take on that because, you know, you're from Calcutta, the city that I used to live in as well, when I worked for the Telegraph a long time ago. What's your take on that? Because I read your piece and I was really interested, and I think our audience would appreciate learning as well. What was your thoughts on his comments about this?
okay, so his comments, it's like how you pick it up.
Okay.
Building those models, fundamental model, is complex, is tough. So what he said, maybe the choice of word is not right.
Yeah.
Because when you put it, and I think that's good because it's like an arm race now. How I see AI is going to be moving, all countries will start building their fundamental AI models, because any model which is more suited for US or maybe for UK might not be suited for, because there are a lot of documents, things which are not in the public space, and if those are not fed into the model, they might not actually serve to that population. Will it be equivalent to what has been developed? Maybe not, but it's like, that's where I think, and that's what the piece I've written, that comment might actually start an AI race within India, might not compete with OpenAI, they might have a different goal to do it, but yes, every country in future will have their fundamental models to address their specific problems.
No, I agree with you. I thought it was quite a weird comment to make, because India has an incredible tech ecosystem, and there are a number of companies that have started small and gone on to become huge, no more than Infosys, who obviously used to work for as well. I was quite surprised by that, and I'll be honest, I'll say to people in the audience listening to go and read your Medium blog on that, because it was quite a weird thing to say, I felt, from, you know, someone who's meant to be like one of the most outlooked people on AI, right, I guess. Anuj, just finally, what are you kind of seeing over the next 12 months in your respective spaces? What trends are you expecting? What are you kind of seeing change? What's your take?
So trends, definitely. The strategies of the companies for AI adoption will change. I can see, okay, that's start changing what they were doing now and what these models are able to do it. Secondly, organization will open up. So currently what happens is most of the organization say, this is my personal data. But if you look into it, in most of the organization, the personal and sensitive data is only 30 to 40%. Rest, if it goes out of the public domain, no one going to read it, it's not impacted. But because structurally these are all organization and you set it up that in a way where anything which is generated becomes personal data, hence not actually going into the personal domain. Second is the search will change. If I talk about it, since ChatGPT, I've not used Google. I'm more using ChatGPT for all my search. And that's where it's a liability for all organization to feed their real data to the ChatGPT model, because that's where people will be moving, and if they don't have the real data, it's going to hamper your brand. So one is you protect your documents itself, and secondly, you feeding in the information which should go to the public.
I mean, it's moving so fast that by this time next year we could be talking about a different tech hype, and I hope not, because there's so much more AI to unlock.
Yeah.
But until then, I'd love to chat to you more. Anuj, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.